What's up, Braves Nation? After that historic collapse, that pitching mound debacle that cost us the postseason, tell the truth. Is your fan heart still beating strong, or is it beating to the slow rhythm of disappointment? If your blood isn't boiling, anxious for an immediate answer from Alex Anthopoulos, maybe you haven't understood the gravity of the situation. We had the most disappointing season in recent history, a true nightmare that shredded ESPN's projections, which gave us 96 wins and over a 91% probability of making the playoffs. And we finished 20 games below that mark. What happened to the dominant force we expected? The chop-on went silent because the foundation crumbled. The opening day starting rotation simply evaporated. Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez, Spencer Schwellenbach, A.J. Smith-Shawver, and Grant Holmes, all of them ended up on the 60-day injured list. Suddenly, confidence turned into the biggest concern in the league. 19, I repeat, 19 different players took the mound as starters in 2025. That's not a rotation, that's a constant emergency. Now look at the offseason. Smith-Shawver is out, likely missing most of 2026 while recovering from Tommy John surgery. The health of Lopez and Schwellenbach is a constant uncertainty. The front office's time is up, folks. The priority is non-negotiable. It is screaming. We need an elite, durable starting pitcher who wears the jersey with fire in his eyes. And that's why the name Dylan Cease is the only one that matters right now. For 2 consecutive seasons, Anthopoulos courted the Georgia native but backed off because of the high cost in prospects. Now, the ace is free on the market without us having to burn a single piece of our farm. Cease is the obvious, urgent and perfect solution for our shattered rotation. We are talking about a pitcher who delivers, who has a track record of absurd durability with at least 32 guaranteed starts every year since 2021. Don't give me the money excuse. We've already demonstrated that we can make colossal investments, like when we reportedly offered Aaron Nola $162 million 2 off-seasons ago. The projection for Cease is within the Braves' risk tolerance, whether it's Sports Illustrated's 5 years and $125 million, or ESPN's $145 million. But there's an even quicker path, one our GM has already trod. The short-term prove-it contract, just like Josh Donaldson did before 2019 and like Blake Snell recently did with the Giants. Anthopoulos used the Donaldson playbook, seal the short-term deal, and bring the ace home without prospects. It's time for us to become the dominant force in the East Division again. The question isn't whether Dylan Cease makes sense for the Braves, it's why the hell hasn't he signed yet? The time is now. The urgency is total. This is the ultimate chop-on. The 2025 disaster is still stuck in the throat of every Atlanta Braves fan, and it is unacceptable. Projecting 96 wins and a 91.1% chance of postseason play, only to finish 20 games below the forecast and outside the playoffs. That is a historical shame for a franchise accustomed to dominating the National League East with the chop-on engine running at full throttle. The naked truth is that our offense is legendary, but the pitching was a joke. And now, Alex Anthopoulos has the urgent obligation to correct that fatal mistake. The problem is the rotation, period. Preseason optimism disintegrated under the weight of the injured list. Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez, Spencer Schwellenbach, A.J. Smith-Shawver and Grant Holmes, all of them, I repeat, all of them ended up on the fateful 60-day IL during the summer. You can't compete for a division title, let alone a World Series, when your entire starting rotation is decimated by injuries. The panic was so severe that 19 different pitchers served as starters throughout 2025, turning the powerhouse of baseball into an improvised testing ground. With Smith-Shawver now recovering from Tommy John surgery and likely out for much of 2026, plus the persistent uncertainties about the health of Lopez and Schwellenbach, the priority is not just to hire a starter, but rather a durable, proven ace. And that's where Dylan Cease comes in, the name that makes all the strategic and emotional sense. Cease is a Georgia native, and the Braves have been pursuing him for 2 off-seasons. The crucial difference now is that he's a free agent, meaning the Braves won't have to sacrifice valuable prospects to get him. The high cost in young talent was always the deal-breaker for Anthopoulos, but now the cost is purely financial. The door is open, and the front office has no excuse not to close this deal. The necessary investment is fully within the Braves' risk tolerance. Financial projections place him between 5 years and $125 million, Sports Illustrated, to 5 years and $145 million, ESPN. This is an elite ace contract. But remember, this same front office demonstrated the capacity and willingness to go, reportedly offering Aaron Nola a 6-year, $162 million contract 2 off-seasons ago. The standard is set. The Braves pay top dollar for premier pitchers. Cease fits perfectly within that budget. Furthermore, Cease's recent history, 8.12, 4.55 ERA, 1.1 BWAR in 2025, opens up an even more intriguing path for Alex Anthopoulos' genius, the Prove-It contract. If Cease and his agent, Scott Boras, with whom the Braves have little history but who is Blake Snell's agent, decide to seek a higher average annual value, AAV, in a short-term contract, the strategy will work in the Braves' favor. We saw this happen with Blake Snell and the Giants, and Anthopoulos himself has a history of closing these intelligent deals with established veterans, as he did with third baseman Josh Donaldson before 2019. Offering Cease a 2- or 3-year contract with an elevated AAV would be a masterful move, securing top-tier talent immediately while the pitcher works to realign with his previous young-level performance. And what the Braves need most after that 2025 fiasco is durability. Cease is a workhorse, having made at least 32 starts every year since 2021. He is the anchor the Braves' crumbling rotation desperately needs to relieve the burden on young arms and those returning from injury. If the chop-on offense is the locomotive, Dylan Cease must be the V8 engine that ensures the train doesn't derail again. The combination of his potential, his durability, and the opportunity to sign him as a free agent makes the acquisition of Dylan Cease not just logical, but an absolute, non-negotiable priority to restore the supremacy of the Atlanta Braves and reclaim our division crown. The time for Anthopoulos to act is now. It is time to attack Alex Anthopoulos. This last season for the Atlanta Braves was unacceptable, a true aberration in the franchise's recent history, accustomed to dominating the National League East. The team projected for 96 wins by ESPN, and with a 91.1% chance of postseason play, delivered a pitiful 76-86 record, finishing in a shameful 4th place in the NL East. 20 games below projection, 20 games away from the glory we deserve. The chop-on stopped echoing at Truist Park, and we know why. The starting rotation collapsed. The reality is harsh and clear. Atlanta desperately needs starting pitching. The preseason optimism, which counted on Chris Sale, Ronaldo Lopez, Spencer Schwellenbach, A.J. Smith-Shawver, and Grant Holmes, turned to dust when all of them ended up on the 60-day injured list. Confidence turned into concern, and the proof is that an unbelievable 19 different pitchers acted as starters in 2025, a mess that does not match the strength of our offense. And the situation for 2026 is already critical, with Smith-Shawver out for much of the season due to Tommy John surgery and doubts hanging over the health of Lopez and Schwellenbach. We need a reliable and dominant arm. This is where Dylan Cease comes in, the ace. That makes perfect sense to get us back on the path to victory. He is a pitcher born in Georgia, and that already carries weight. The Braves have already shown interest in him for 2 off-seasons, but backed off due to the high price in prospects. Now, the story is different. Cease is a free agent, which means General Manager Alex Anthopoulos can sign him without giving up any of our farm system jewels. This is the moment to act. Long-term contract projections for Cease are for 5 years, ranging from 125 million to 145 million according to Sports Illustrated and ESPN respectively. This amount is completely within the Braves' capacity and willingness to invest. We just need to remember that we reportedly offered $162 million over 6 years to Aaron Nola 2 off-seasons ago. The standard for investing in elite pitchers is there. But what makes Dylan Cease even more attractive is his recent season, which fell below expectations, recording 8 wins and 12 losses with a 4.55 ERA and a 1.1 EBITDA. Yes, the 2025 performance was modest, but this is exactly what can open a window of opportunity with his agent, Scott Boras, known for not making life easy for teams. There is a significant precedent that favors the Braves. Blake Snell, another Boras client, signed a short-term prove-it contract with the Giants 2 seasons ago. Cease, coming off a high ERA season, might be convinced to do the same, seeking a higher AAV, average annual value, in a shorter duration deal. Anthopoulos has a history of closing these intelligent short-term deals with established veterans, as he did with Josh Donaldson before 2019. Why wouldn't he do the same with Cease? And the crucial point, durability. Cease is a workhorse, having made at least 32 starts every year since 2021. In a starting rotation that imploded due to injuries, an arm that can guarantee around 32 starts is a luxury. It is the anchor we need so our bullpen is not overloaded. His career BWAR of 16.8 and his strikeout history, 215, in 2025 show the potential he has to dominate. Cease in the rotation means less pressure on the young arms and the certainty that the overwhelming force of our offense, of our chop-on, will have the necessary support to start racking up wins again and retake the NL East throne. Signing Dylan Cease is not just a wish, it is an urgent necessity for the Atlanta Braves to return to being the team we expect. The division champion every year, Anthopoulos. The time is now. The target is Cease. That's it, guys. The strength of our offense is undeniable. We saw the power of those bats once again, proving that the National League East Division belongs to Atlanta. The chop-on is more than a chant, it's a declaration of dominance. We are ready to secure another division title and set our sights on the final banner. And you, what's your prediction for what awaits us in the next series? Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our daily Braves coverage. Activate the bell to be notified immediately. Thanks a lot, Chop-On Nation. Let's go straight to the World Series.